Hey, what's going on, everyone? Shiva Sapkota here with another Tesla video. Today I'm going to show you how to do this awesome install power sunshade on a Tesla Model 3. This is exactly the same process for the older Teslas as well as Highland. I'm going to show you on a Model 3 Highland here, but this has a gesture control in addition to the voice and the bond control that we have seen in the past, where you don't have to touch anything. You just go over here and then you just make a gesture to close, and then it closes. If I make a gesture again, it goes back and opens it on both the front and the rear. They still have a conventional, the traditional button where you just press on the button and then it individually controls the sunshade. So if you want to open the rear one, close the rear one, and you can do all of that. You can also use your voice to fully control the front and the rear and a whole bunch of other things. Close the front sunroof.
Okay.
And it only closes the front one, leaves the rear one open. Product was sent to us free of charge by Tesla Studio to review in our channel. I'm going to show you how you can knock that price down by quite a bit. You can select the Model 3 or Model 3 Highland, and the price is the same. As I said, it's the exact same kit. So if you add to cart, and we are going to go and check out from the cart here, it's a $652, but if you were to put a discount code SHIVATESLA, so Shiva Tesla, hit enter, that price goes down quite a bit. Now it becomes $482. So the total becomes $482 after a saving of $170. So I'll let you be the judge if this is worth it for you or not, but this is how you can significantly save some money. This is affiliate code. We do earn a very small commission at no additional cost to you. Greatly helps us bring videos like this in the future. And they actually have a lot of sunshade options on their website. So it is not the only sunshade here. There's voice control ones for Model Ys. There's Cybertruck sunroof shade. There's simple ones where you just stick it. Those are cheaper. There's just a whole bunch of other options. So depending on your like and what you're looking for, different pricing options for you all as well. So there's a lot of options. All right, let's look at the parts and components before we go out there, the wiring and everything, and I'm going to show you step by step how to do this install. It's a pretty straightforward process. Once we get the wiring, it's a big wire routing job, and in a conventional sense, this is not even connected to the car's computer or anything. It's just connected to the battery. So let's look at that harness first. So this is your battery harness. You got a positive and a negative battery, and you can connect this to the front battery or the rear battery. We're going to actually do it on the rear connection. It just goes to the front anyways, but the rear connection is going to be a little bit easier to route this. I'm going to show you how to do that underneath the seat. They of course send you the fishing cable, so you can use that, and then you're also going to need an electrical tape to fish this wire. You're going to need some scissors to cut this, and then you're going to need a Torx 25 bit for the rear, and then looks like a 5/16. Actually, this is a hex for the front because we're going to be making that connection here. So I'm going to show you how to do that, but that's what you need. Now let's move on to the connection itself. So after you connect this to the battery from the bottom rear seat, you're going to actually bring this up through the headliner, and there's just this one connection that you're going to make that connection right here. This is the front piece, so you're just going to be making that connection to the front, and then that is just going to be powered at that point. The front will independently work at that point. You don't even have to install the rear if you don't want to, but of course you got a pair, so you're going to install the rear. So now going to the rear, the front is energized and powered through there. Now all of this wiring is pre-done within the piece here. That means for the rear, we're just going to actually take this cable that you see, pass it from the middle headliner piece, and then go jump it to the rear one. So with the rear, then you just get the power, and that's all the power that you need for the rear, and now it's just fully connected. So as I said, it is more of a wire routing process than anything, and then at that point we need to now talk about the top pieces and the brackets. So the brackets, they did it slightly differently this year, and I think I like this layout, but basically what they did was you have got this bracket. If I show you from the bottom, this just goes and hooks into the headliner piece. In the past, the issue was that it would be really difficult to install that bracket because it would come like pre-installed kind of in the front. But this time they didn't do that. They actually made this kind of a loose, so you can retract this back, put the headliner piece, and then push this in after you have the headliner piece already installed on both sides. For the rear of the front, so this is the back piece of the front, it is already pre-installed, so you just hook it on one side and then just install the front one. I'm gonna show you how to do that here in just a second, but that's the front piece. For the rear piece, there are the brackets on the side. So there is one bracket on the side, another one on this side, and there are just those two brackets in the front. And they, for some reason, decided to go with the Torx bit on the rear and then hex on the front, but that's okay. So the first step on this process, we're gonna get power, give this a quick test, and then go from there. So to get the 12-volt power, we're gonna reach underneath the seat area here. It is same for all the car models, for Highland or the older Model 3s, and then you're gonna see a little black tab right here. Your job is to push this towards the left. So from here, you're gonna go and push this towards the left. That lets you actually lift this up. You're gonna do that on the other side as well. We loose on that side, we're gonna do the exact same thing on this side. There is going to be that black bracket right here. What we do is push this again. On this case, it will be towards the left again. And then, as you see, you're able to completely lift the seat up. So you could potentially just work by lifting this a little bit on that area, but recommendation would be to just completely lift this up so that you can get some spaces, but there is some connections here that you have to be careful. Let me show you that next. So when you try to remove this, as I said, on the right side, there's gonna be your seat heater connection there. So be careful with that. If you wanna completely remove it, it is right here. There are two plugs that you have to undo. Press in the middle tab and take that out. Or if you just wanna be careful and just work so that you don't have to remove those plugs, then we can use something to just lift that seat up. So you can use the foam box that it came with to hold this in place. Make sure those wires all the way in the back, they are not tensioned, anything. They need to have slack and they are loose. And you have to be really careful working on this so you don't move this, because we're just gonna be working right there. Next, we're gonna be removing this weather stripping from the bottom so we can route some cables. And we actually need to do that all throughout here, all the way up to the top. Just be careful, this weather stripping is connected to the front here. So just strip it just a little bit from this corner, and then we're gonna be routing some cable through here, but that's all we need to remove from the side. Next, we're gonna take our fishing wire that they sent and then basically try to fish it to this location here, and it just comes out from this angle. Now we are able to route the cable. Next, we need to connect to this ground and the power here using the harness that they had sent us. And just a standard protocol, we're gonna start with the ground and then we're gonna connect the power. The shape is already in the 12-volt terminal, where it is super easy for you to just slide this in. We just have to loosen this bolt a little bit. So we're gonna need a 13mm, and we're gonna start with the negative terminal. Just use this, use hand tool, don't use power tool for the battery here, just to be safe. And you can just undo this a little bit more here, and there's gonna be some clips. You're supposed to put this on the very bottom. So just put this on the very bottom, slide it in, and this is just going to go into its place here. There you go. Now you're able to just secure this back in. Tighten this in place. So now our ground cable is done. Just make sure that this is all good to go. There is no issues here. And then we're gonna move on to the power cable. So the ground cable is fully connected. Now we're gonna follow the exact same process for the power cable here. You just lift this cover and use the 13mm to loosen this bolt from here. So once this is loosened, where it is just lifted a little bit up, where we have enough room to slide the power cable, that's what we're gonna do. That's probably good enough. We're gonna take our power cable and basically slide it in the very, very bottom. So look for that bottom opening there and just simply slide it. There you go. Now we take our socket wrench and tighten this. And that's it. So we should have power and ground. So make sure this is secure. Don't over tighten it, but make sure that this is not loose, because then you're gonna have issues with the 12-volt battery if this is loose. So just make sure that it's secure and tight. And as I said, this does have a fuse if something goes wrong. Then you can still push this just down and cover it. Now we're gonna be just routing this end to the other side using this fishing cable. So for that, we're just going to use some electrical tape to connect this. So we have used the electrical tape here to connect that plug. Now it is just, we need to find a good location for that plug to come out. It may take you a little bit, but here you go. This is out. Now we can completely pull this in and then be able to put the seat back. Just be careful pulling this in. Here you go. Now that we have successfully pulled the wire from here, our job is to just put this seat back on. One thing that I did wanted to show you before the seat is that I ended up routing the cable from this opening here, and just because Tesla already has their wire harness coming through this really nice opening, that gives you a little bit more flexibility. So I put it through there. Now I'm just gonna be dropping that seat back in place. So for this, you have to just kind of push this towards inward and then make sure all the seat belts align. If this seat belt has kind of gone down from you, so like if it is just past there, you wanna just bring it up and make sure that it does that, and then we gotta make sure that the seat belts on the bottom are good as well. Once you make sure that the seat belts are in place, if not, just move them slightly and everything is good to go. As you see that it lifts, then you can push this inward and then just push this down and it is just going to click into its place. Do the same thing on the other side. Now we just need to route this cable to the top and it can just literally go on this void. So we're gonna be just routing this all the way from here to the very edge, and we're gonna have to fish that wire from this side to the front. So when you get to the wire routing process here, from the corner is what I found to be the easiest. Just be careful, there's an airbag on the right side there, but just from the corner where it clears the airbag and it goes to the other side, and right here, if it is not coming out or you're having a little bit of hard time, just use a pry tool, then this becomes easier to just pull from that side. So just have to probably try a couple of times for you, but using that pry tool is helpful. And if you can't, still maybe try it from this side. This might take a little bit for you to find that, but it's just a headliner piece at this point, and you are able to route it from the bottom. I actually did not undo the electrical tape from the bottom, so I'm just going to continue to route this and get the cable to the top. Now I routed the cable from all the way to the top there. All I have to do is insert this cable into this opening void here. Just go around and do that, and then we're able to you just need to snug it in because we're gonna put the weather stripping back anyways, and that's gonna hide everything. So we're gonna do that. Now, you guessed it, we're just going to put the weather stripping back on. Now for the weather stripping, it's stopped on the top, and there is a tip for you guys. If you look at it here, sometimes we're just inclined to just push this in and it's not gonna go because there is this weather stripping edge that Tesla has it. You just have to bring it to the front and then put this in. That way it just goes through. So you have to kind of watch out for this edge where it is and make sure that it is covering this area, and then it will nicely go in after that. But just have to be patient while pushing it in, and don't just blindly push it. Take your time, go through this process here and do the exact same thing throughout, and we will be good to go. Now we have completely covered this area just like how it was before, and we just have this one wire coming out of the top. That's the main wire. Now we just need to install the actual sunshade, but the power part is done. Before installing this, I want to do a quick test so that we don't waste so much time doing the install in case something doesn't work. So what we do is grab this power cable that we routed from the bottom, and you see on here, we just have to plug this in. So we're going to do some testing here. The testing is super simple. You can either press this button, so there you go, it is working. The sunshade is closing, so that button is working. You can press it again to stop, and then you press and hold this button to go back. So that's what you do. Again, press it again to stop. Now let's test this sensor here. There you go, it worked. It worked. So we're good to go. Let's go ahead and install this. Now for these brackets, they went with a different route with this version. Normally the brackets would already be either pre-installed or you have to install it, and it doesn't fit very well on the top area. So this time what they did is they made this loose, so you can insert it and then you can slide this and then you can use a socket. I don't know why they went with a socket. This is a 5/16 or whatever equivalent it is on the metric system, and you just have to use this to tighten it. And your goal is basically to get this all the way to the front, but you can insert this. I mean, you can take it out and insert it first, but that's what they did. There's just two on the front side for the front one, and then the rear side for the front one already comes pre-installed. You don't have to do anything. You just basically insert it. I'll show you here in just a second. Now for the back, I don't know why they then went with a Torx system. So this is a Torx 25 bolt here. There's two there, and then there is one here, and then the one on the other side. And for these ones, you actually do have to remove this first. So you're gonna be undoing this with the Torx 25, and what you can do is look at it, loosen it, take this out, and you install this on the headliner piece first, and then what you can do then is simply slide it, like find it, slide it, and then once you find a good spot, then you can secure this. Then you go ahead and put this in. So that's what you need to do for the rear side. The front one is a bit easier. So this is the front unit here, and the sensor is in the front, so that's how you know you have to make it upside down, so you can just push it up. And what we need to do is on the back, these hooks are already pre-installed, so there's not much you have to do. We just have to lift it and then hook it into that headliner piece on the top. And in the front, we're first gonna try it with this piece all the way back, and then see if we can push it, and then basically try to push this in the front. That might be easier. If not, we will completely remove this. But my first thought is maybe let's not remove it. Let's see if we can just work it that way. And then the only thing left to do is to plug in this, which is the cable that we routed earlier. So basically this cable coming in, and we're just going to align the power plug and then simply plug this in so that we have power. So that's what we're gonna do next. Plug this in. We're gonna hide some of the cable and then push this up. Now before we put this whole thing up, I think we should route our fishing cable to run that wire from the front to the back. So we have to run that fishing cable on that side. So we're gonna be doing that. That way fishing cable is intact. We install this and we pull the fishing cable with the wire. The wire is not long enough to do it from the bottom. It has to be from the top. So for running this fishing cable, I would use a pry tool to just pry this out, and that way you are able to just prop this, and then you can then feel your way through there. It might take you a little bit to find the exact location to pass this through, but just don't force this a step. So I found a pretty good location here. I think what I'm gonna do is now prop it on the other side here and try to feel it from the back side, and see if I can pull this. Let me see. Now a tip for you guys on this is that once you insert it from this side and you kind of push it as far as you can from one of the location, you have to go from this side and use a pry tool, and really you have to go digging with your hand inside, try to get that in. It took me a little bit to get to that fishing wire, but just using your pry tool, propping this out, and really you gotta go inside and try to dig it using your hand. So if you have a smaller hand, this might be helpful. If you have two people, one can just hold this down for you a little bit, just prop this down, and then you can then use the wire. It's gonna be a little bit of a tricky job, so just giving you the expectation that it's not as easy as just, okay, I'm gonna slide this to the other side. That's how their videos show it. It's not that easy. It actually takes some effort to try to find it, but if you become patient and just take your time, it will go to the other side. So with this step, the goal is for you to lift this and basically slide those brackets that you see on the top into the headliner piece. But because the headliner piece probably is gonna need a little bit of a propping out, it just becomes harder to do that by yourself. So having someone to help you out greatly helps in this situation. So what we do, if you have someone who can help you hold this here in place, is then you go with a pry tool. It's gonna be a little bit tedious. We may need a different type of a pry tool to basically slide this into its place. So if you look at it closely here, if I just prop this side up, this bracket just goes in much easier, and it holds onto its place here. So we just gotta do the same on both sides. So on this side too, prop it and then it goes in. There you go. So now both sides is in. We just gotta work on the front. Now before we put the other side here, you should probably take advantage of this opportunity where you have this lifted down a little bit to route this cable. And so for that, we would just grab this, put a double-sided tape with the cables, and then we're gonna pass it to the other side. So as I said, just use the tape and then we're gonna route it to the other side before we fully secure that bracket in place. That just makes it a little bit easier. So we just have to pull it from the other side. And we're able to pull this cable out. So we wanna kind of put it towards the right as much as possible, but basically from that side, it is in. Now, another annoying thing about this version was I kept activating the sensor while installing it. So I put a tape so it does not bother me. You have to actually press the button right now. So now we got the back fully installed and everything. Now we're gonna move to the front. As I said, just bring this bracket all the way to the back. So this bracket here all the way as back as you can so that we can just simply insert this in and we should be good to go. So bring this back, that one's back. Now we just push this little bit back and then we're able to push this forward. So the goal is we're gonna press it in and I'm gonna show you a little bit closer how we can tighten this. With this step, what I would recommend is get a pry tool and simply pry it kind of close to where this bracket is gonna go. So in this case here, then push the bracket up because then that allows you to have a nice opening on the very, very top. Bring this as close as possible, push this in, and then slide this in. When you do that, this actually goes in nicely and then puts it right in the glass. Now what we're gonna do is actually take our, this is the 5/16 that I told you earlier, and we're simply going to tighten this into its place. So this is what we're gonna do. Go around, and there's plenty of clearance here. Like I'm able to just do this whole big thing. So even if you have a smaller wrench, that makes it much, much easier. But even with the big wrench, I'm able to do this. And your job is to just fully tighten this. If you ever have to take this out, do the same thing in reverse. So then you can go here and unscrew this portion. Now that thing in the front is fully secured, which is great because in the past that was so hard to do because with the tight space and everything. So they made this much easier to do. Now this is strong and secured. We just do that on the other side as well. We do the same thing on this side. You're gonna take your pry tool and pry this out, push this in. Again, this is gonna take a little bit getting used to it, but then push this in, get the pry tool out of the way, but then it allows you to find that area and then you can push it and then you can secure it. Again, as I said, this could be a trial and error. Just be patient, keep pushing it from the down and align this and use multiple pry tools. But once you get in, it just goes in like that and then you just tighten it just like what you did on the other side. But this is a game of patience. I'm not gonna lie, not gonna be just super easy like you just insert it and it works. It's gonna take some time and patience to do this. But once it is in, this becomes super secured. It's part of the structure and you can remove this. You're good to go. Now for that wire, you can kind of let it hang on the back. There is no issues there, but if you want to reach all the way, you can also put it on that gap in the headliner. You're just gonna need a pry tool, but if you don't mind just the wire hanging there, you can just leave it there as well. But my recommendation would be to pry that top area and then just snug the wire. So there's the cable there. The front one is completely done. Now the rear one, there's only cable on one side. That's where we're gonna make the connection, but we need to put some brackets first. Let me show you how to do that next. So for the rear now, we have to remove those brackets as I said earlier. So just use a Torx 25. Don't fully get rid of the screw, but just remove it. And then we're gonna keep doing that for all of this. So there's 1, 2, there's 1, 3, and there's 4. So for the rear one, we need to put these brackets first, and as that has a cushiony a spot in the back. This is where it goes on the glass as well as on the top. So what we do is undo some of this screws here just a little bit, and you can just prop this headliner piece, and once you prop this, you're able to just simply insert them there. And you don't have to secure this yet. You can kind of tighten it if you want so that it holds into the headliner piece, but make sure that this is movable because we don't know exactly where that piece is gonna come in yet. This is just a prep work. And do the same thing on this corner, kind of in a general area. Doesn't have to be exact. And this one is too tight. Just remember to make sure you leave some space, and then just prop this out, insert this, and then you can tighten just a little bit, not too much, so you can still slide this in. Once the actual sunshade comes through, this is when we're gonna further tighten it. So those two are done. Now we're gonna do two more, one on each side. So on this one, same thing, just go over here, prop this out a little bit, and then make this space and slide this in so it can slide wherever you need it to slide. Now go to the other side and do the same thing. So to differentiate which one is the front piece and rear piece on this back one, you just have to look at the wiring. So there is wiring on here and here, so it matches. Also, the back piece actually now has a little headliner thing. So that's how you know. It's like a little curb area. So that's how you know which one is front and which one is back. Now, first order of business is for you to align those clips. So location of those clips kind of match where they are at. Slide them if needed. Your goal is gonna be to push this in, and then once it is in, you have to kind of slide this out and then secure it. So that's gonna be your goal. So first order of business, just align it. Align exactly where this needs to go so that if you look at it here, if we push it in, it is just going to go exactly in its place and then be able to screw everything in. So then perhaps just we'll go ahead and connect these wires. The red goes red, white goes white, black goes black. My beef with this company is, why are these wires so short? They need to make this long. There's plenty of space where we can hide them under the headliner piece, but these are such short wires. They just need to do a better job at making them long. So right here, and one more. Okay, so all three are now plugged in. So if you want to further secure them, you probably should put some electrical tape. I think I'm gonna do that just in case it pulls on it and tries to move out. So I'm gonna put some electrical tape to secure this first. So with these brackets, your goal is to slide it into that open area. So you slide it in like that, and then you can then bring it out to the left side. That allows you to kind of secure that into its place. Same thing on both sides. And if you look at it, that actually holds it in place. Then you go with your Torx 25 and then secure this just fully once the bracket has been moved towards the left. That allows you to then fully secure this. So now it is strong and it is holding into its place. We gotta do that same thing on this side. And that's basically what you need to do on all four of these clips. Really, like that's your job here, is you're just securing this into its place. And yeah, this is not gonna fall or anything. Now we gotta go do that on the sides as well. So here's the side one, just align it. And when you push it in, the screw goes into its place. Then you grab into the screw and then push it towards the right. This is from this side on the driver's side. And then that actually holds into its place. So then you take your Torx 25 at this point and then basically secure this into its place. You don't have to do much, honestly, because this holds and you're good to go. This is our final side. Just same idea, push it, then push this towards the right side to secure this into its place. And once this is done, you take the Torx 25 and then secure this. I think we're done. Now this is what it looks like fully installed. Aesthetically, it matches with the inside headliner of the Highland, which is really good. It feels like very OEM. It came with the car, the fabric and everything. It is not one of those window type one. There is little area here that it almost looks like got stamped. I don't know if it is a shipping defect or if that is how it is, but I wish that was not there. But overall, aesthetically, as I said, it looks really cool. The buttons are in the front, so you look at it there, and looks really nice. So just for the look of it, it does look very OEM. So now let's look at these controls and how this works. The operation is super simple. You have got two buttons here. One is for the front, the rear. That one that right there is the gesture control button. And then this one right here is for the voice, so the voice activation. And how this works is, again, really simple, very conventional. What you do is if you want to control the front one, you just press the front one once and it's going to start going. If you want to stop it, just press it again. And then if you want to bring this forward, you just press it again and it just goes forward. Now let's say if you open it here and then you stop it midway and you're like, you know what, I actually want that to keep going backward, you can just press and hold and it's gonna start going backward. So you can do that, let it go, stop, and then if you press it again, it just comes front. So that's how the operation goes for this front one. Now for the rear one, it's just that rear button there. So what we do is we can press the same thing, just press the rear one and it is going to keep going over there and it is going to open it. I can stop it at any time by just pressing on the button, and if you want to bring it forward, I can just bring it forward like that as well. So you can do that at the same time. Again, super convenient, just traditional how that works. Can you individually control this? Well, one is in operation. Let's give it a try. So let's open this. It is opening. Let's open the rear one. Yep. Let's just stop the rear one. Let's bring the rear one in, and the front one is still opening. So let's close the front one and let's open the rear one. Let's stop both of them. Now let's close the rear one. Let's open the front one, close the front one, and as you see, it individually works as well. Now that is the sensor for the gesture control there. It has a energy where probably it reaches somewhere down here. It is not gonna do it like when you are having any conversation or anything down here. It needs to be super close to that sensor for you to activate that. But how this works is you make a gesture with your hand, either back or front, and that's what it does. So if we go close here and then basically put our hand here and then just do that, then it simply opens both of those sunshades there. Now, midway through, if we come here and just do this, it is just going to simply close them, and then you get the idea. You can keep doing that, and you saw that it worked here. But like, it's not gonna work down here. I could do any of this. It's not gonna work here. You have to be somewhere right here for it to actually recognize it. So you do that, you stop. It's very, very sensitive and it works. With this, it's not gonna recognize it. It has to be this or that. So the third option to control these sunshades are through voice commands. And I tried a lot of different wake-up word like Amy or TT that they had in the past, and none of that was working. So I found an instruction on their website where apparently the wake-up word is Xiao Tian. So I have to say that when I want to wake this up. They do say that you can learn a different one command, but I just couldn't figure out how to do that. And I hope that I can put in the description some instructions for you all after they get back to me on how to change that wake word. So it would be nice to personalize that. But for now, I have to say, hello, Xiao Tian.
I'm here.
Open sunroof.
Okay.
That opens both the sunroofs. Now if I say stop,
It's paused.
it pauses it. Close sunroof,
Okay.
it closes both of them at the same time. Now if I just want one to be open and one to be closed, I can say open the front sunroof.
Okay.
It only opens the front one and not the rear one. Stop,
It's paused.
close the front sunroof.
Okay.
It closes that. So you get the idea. You can individually control that. So another thing you can do with this voice command is you can also control if you want the volume to be so loud or so low. You have an option to do that. So if you just say, turn down the volume,
Okay.
turn down the volume,
Okay.
and it just gets quieter and quieter. Turn down the volume,
Okay.
increase the volume,
Okay.
and it gets louder that way. So you have that option as well. You can also turn on and off this gesture that you have here. So to do that, all you have to say is turn off the gesture control.
Okay.
Now the gesture is not going to work. So if I do this, look at it, it's not working. Now if I say turn on the gesture control.
Okay.
Now we're back to being able to control this using the gesture function. So you can do that with the voice command as well, which is really good. And then if you are not sure what commands are available, you can just ask it to broadcast it for you. So all you have to say is broadcast all commands.
Now broadcasting the command words. Open the sunroof. Open the sunshade. Close the sunroof. Close the sunshade.
So you get the idea. It is just going to keep going through and broadcast
Open the
all the
front
available
sunroof.
commands that
Open
it
the
has,
sunshade.
so you
Close
know
the
exactly
front
what to
sunroof.
say to
Close the
control
front
what.
sunshade.
So with the front, if we were to do the measurement, you lose about 2 inches right here. So if that is going to be significant for you, then you may want to rethink it. Now the rear one, especially with the seat here, if we were to measure the glass versus this, is about 3 inches. So you're losing quite a bit on the back, so just keep that in mind. It may feel a little tight if you have taller person in the back. So just for height reference, I'm 5'9". I am standing straight here. I am barely not touching the sunshade when it is closed. But if I was to raise my height just a little bit, I'm of course going to be touching that. So just keep that in mind. I don't know how your passengers are on a Model 3. If they are taller people than 5'9", you're probably gonna affect the height here. So unfortunately, it is a bit of a cloudy day here. As you can see the clouds there. So our temperature testing is gonna be limited. But if we were to just do a quick test here, we're getting 101 on the bare glass, versus if we take that out, it drops to 90, 102, there's 89. So you can see the drop here even with the low temperature, but the temperature drop becomes very big if there was a higher temperature here. So right now we are at 103 and that is 92. So I know it seems like just a 10-degree drop, but if this was 140 that we have seen in the past, it is a significant drop with the interior versus the exterior. So the sunsets are very snugged in, very tightly up there, and that's probably why I don't hear any rattles. I did drove around even on the highway just to test it out to see how I'm feeling, and I did not hear anything out of ordinary that, on my car there was no rattling at all. So I don't know how it is gonna do. My Model Y, I had my sunset installed for about a year now, and I have never had issues with the rattling, and it's the similar type of sunset. So I don't think I'm gonna witness anything, but just wanted to let you know that I did not notice any rattle while going and driving. So what do you all think about this power sunshade for Tesla Model 3 Highland? Do you like it? Your likes, your dislikes, please let me know in the comment section below. I really like it. Sunshades are, for me, I've said this many times, they are absolutely must-have accessory for Tesla Model 3 and Model Y just because of this bare glass that we have on the top. It gets really hot. Yeah, you can get some ceramic coating, you can tint that space and whatnot, but still with the sunshade, you can get rid of a lot of heat that is coming in. I personally had sunshade on my Model Y, the older Model 3, for a few years now, and it has absolutely made a difference. So I highly recommend having a sunshade. Even if you don't get this one, even if it is a simple one, just having something to cover that roof is very important, especially if you live in an extreme heat area. And I really like this one because the profile is very low. Even the buttons and everything match with Tesla. It's really close with the headliner. They made the installation a bit easier compared to the previous version that we have seen, because it was really hard to get to that top area, especially on the front. They made a little bit of a changes where it makes it a little bit easier. They also went directly with the 12-volt battery. I don't know if they should have gone with the central console area, but you also risk kind of connecting to the car. So I guess the battery makes sense, and it was super easy. I showed you how to route this cable and everything. So just a couple of things for them is to make the wires longer. I think they could do that so that it is not as short while routing it. That would be my feedback for them. But overall, just a really nice product. It works, and the buttons and everything, we have seen it work on other products in the past, but this is just the gesture control is something that they added with this, which super simple. I can open, I can just close it just like that. It does not interfere if I am doing my motion moment, getting my popcorn, anything while I'm in the car. It doesn't matter. It's not going to recognize that. I have to be very intentional going over here and hitting that close. So it's really good. Everything seems to be in order, and I really like this product, but I'm really interested in knowing your feedback. Please let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found today's video helpful, would like to see more videos like this in the future, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and come back again soon.